I feel like with this mic that I'm testing out, I need to like be a preacher or something that my video needs to be talking like this, and it's gonna be amazing. And I tell you right now.
A few moments later.
Hey guys, you probably noticed the background in my Taco Bell chalupa review video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I became a Cleveland Browns fan many years ago. So let's start all the way from the beginning because I wasn't always a Browns fan. In fact, I liked a lot of teams when I was growing up, and I remember my brother would always give me a hard time because I was always switching teams. As some of you know, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and so the expectation there was to be a Seahawks fan. And you know the Seahawks were all right, but I was never a huge fan. On TV, a lot of the local games were, on the West Coast, so like the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Raiders, Chargers, teams like that. But as a kid, one of my favorite teams was actually the Titans. They were really good when I was pretty little, and they made it to a Super Bowl with Steve Mcnair, who at the time, I mean, he was like the coolest football player, quarterback ever. He could run, he could pass, he had so much swag. Rest in peace, Steve Mcnair. But I loved the Titans, I loved their colors. But over time, the Browns slowly kind of won my heart. It all started in the early 2000s. And it's when I really started getting good at Madden. I played a ton of Madden, the video game, and I started to beat the computer pretty easily on the hardest modes. So I wanted more of a challenge, and I would start playing with random teams, and especially bad teams, which means I played with the Browns a lot. Now I started to take notice of them in real life, and on occasion I'd catch a Browns game on TV, and there was just something about their jerseys that I liked. I mean, take a look at these beauties. White, orange, brown. I think I like these jerseys so much because they're so simple that it makes them timeless, and they're so plain that it makes them unique and stand out. And when you really think about it, like what sports team in their right minds would ever make their main colors brown and orange? Anyways, I started really building momentum as a fan. After playing Madden, after liking their jerseys, I started liking their players too. Early on, it was Reuben Jones, Kellen Winslow, DeQuell Jackson. But I wasn't quite ready to claim them as my team. In 2006, that's when I really got invested. I was all in.
And I want you guys to be all in. Yeah. I want you to be all in.
The players kept growing on me. Return man Josh Cribbs, Oregon native QB Derek Anderson, Jamal Lewis, who I think had a 2,000 rushing yard season with them, future Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. I mean, the list just went on. And 2007 was a great year. It was the year I got my driver's license, which is also the year I bought my first piece of Browns memorabilia. It was a lanyard for my car keys, and I would rep that every day to school. That year in '07, the Browns won 10 games and just barely missed the playoffs. So I was really hyped. But then the next decade, oof, man. The next decade just tested me in every way as a fan. From like 2008 to 2018, the Browns sucked. I can't put it any other way. I mean, I could spend a whole nother video just breaking down that era and why they were so bad. I mean, you had the whole Johnny Manziel thing. You had hiring and firing coaches and GMs like every other year. There was an 0-16 season. But, in a way, that's why I like them so much. Because there hasn't been very much expected of them, and they've always been the underdog. And I always root for the underdog. You have to. But, all those hard times, what it did is it made me invest more in the team as a fan. And what I mean by that is I started caring about every little detail within that organization, because I understood that every detail mattered. And I would see, the blueprint from some of the winning organizations like the Patriots and what they were doing, the same coach, the same GM, value picks. So I started investing a lot of time in, who are they hiring as their GM and why? Who are they going to draft? Why are they drafting that way? Off-season moves, roster moves, cap space, every detail. For whatever reason, I thought the more I knew, somehow the more influence I could have on the team, or it gave me power in some way to think, okay, there's a future in this, which leads me to today. I can't tell you guys how excited I am for the future of this franchise. I mean, they're coming off probably one of their best years since maybe the 50s or 60s or the Jim Brown era. They've got a playoff win under their belt against a division rival. So the future's bright. They've got some young cornerstone pieces I'm really excited about. And the thing is, it's that much sweeter as a fan because of all the frustration, because of all the heartache, the heckling from friends saying, "What, you're a Browns fan? Why would you ever be a Browns fan?" The losses, the disappointment, all of that combines to make what's going on right now that much sweeter. And, that's what I've experienced as a fan over the last 14 to 15 years. And I'm excited for what that brings in the future. I really hope they can make it to a Super Bowl. I mean, that's like a bucket list item if the Browns ever make it to a Super Bowl, or maybe I should say win. I'm definitely going. I don't care if I have to take out a second mortgage or something to go to the Super Bowl. But that's why I like the Browns. I'd love to hear if you have any teams, whether it's in the NFL, MLB, NHL, football, basketball, whatever. I want to know who you're a fan of and why, because I think it's more fun to root for one team. And with that, go Browns!